distinguished veterans, family members, special guests from the town of Berlin, State Rep and Town Council member Donna Veach, Mayor Mark Kaczynski, Berlin Board of Education members, administrators, teachers, and students. I am Brian Benigni, Superintendent for the Berlin Public Schools, and it is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome you to Berlin's 14th Annual Veterans Day program, as we honor you as veterans in song, words, and visual representations. I remember when we started this program with Brad Parsons 14 years ago, and students used to have the day off, as in many towns, and we talked to the Veterans Association and said we thought it'd be more representative to have students in school hearing from veterans and learning an appreciation for all that you've done for us. So I'm very pleased to have this back after not being able to do this last year, and to have our 14th Annual Veterans Day program this evening. We extend to you our most sincere thanks for all that you have done for us and for our country. It is through these patriotic acts and courageous efforts that we still remain the land of the free and the home of the brave. Veterans Day is observed each year on November 11th. The significance of this date, 11/11, helps us focus attention on the importance and the purpose of Veterans Day, a celebration to honor American veterans for their patriotism, love of the country, willingness to serve, and sacrifice for the common good. Our schools had veterans commemorations today and participated in activities in our schools earlier this week. We celebrate here tonight. Please stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Luke Norton, an 8th grader at Catherine McGee Middle School. We're going to use the screens. There's a little flag right there. Everyone turns to their right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Luke. If I can now have the Berlin High School choral singers, McGee Sound Express, and Tyler Boyle and Corinne Telecki as directors to lead us to the national anthem. At this time, I'd like to introduce Brad Parsons from the VFW Post 100732. Brad will be speaking on behalf of the veterans this evening. Mr. Parsons.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Veterans Day. I always like to start off by recognizing all veterans, because Veterans Day is about all the veterans that have served, whether you were on the United States, the continent of the United States, or served overseas, you were prepared to, at any time, go forward and complete a mission. So I'm going to ask right now all the veterans in the audience if you would please stand. Thank you very much for your service to this great country. And as anything else in the military, you're taught to be a member of a team. And there is no I in team. And I have to be the first to recognize some of the folks that get the job done in the town of Berlin. You know, you're hearing about news daily about critical race theory and all these different distractors, but I have to say, from a veteran's perspective, those that live in the town of Berlin, that the faculty and staff of all the schools, under the leadership of Superintendent Brian Benigni, are really geared towards supporting and helping the veterans, and they really want to create and foster a great relationship. So basically, it starts with Brian as the superintendent. He's the senior leader, and he's done a great job. So thank you very much, Brian, for your support. I would be reticent if I did not speak about the support I have at the high school and at McGee School. Jeff Kronk is the social studies department head here at the high school, and he's integrated a lot of the teachers within the high school to support having the veterans come in and speak. And also Joy Cooper at the McGee School, the middle school, has done a lot to integrate the McGee School. And we as a town present, we have a program within the VFW. It's called Patriots Pen. And it's geared towards the middle school environment, grades 6 through 8. And wouldn't you know, we get over 150 essays each and every year from the students at McGee School, which is very impressive and just goes to tell you about the intricacies of the network that we have in town and that we've developed over these years. Deb DiBattista, who is the administrative secretary at the Board of Education, she's been integral in supporting us with emails and keeping everybody in loop, which is, as you know, in the military, communications key. She's our person within the town of Berlin that really does a great job for us. The band, the choral singers, the McGee School and their band structure, all this wouldn't be possible without the teachers stepping up to support the efforts of the veterans. And I think it's so important that we continue that, because as a veterans community, the Veterans Institution, all veterans that is, we want to make sure we reach back to the future generations and impart what we have done in our service to this great nation, so that they have an appreciation as they become young adults, that they know that they have at least known somebody from the town of Berlin that has served or continues to serve and has done great things for the country. And we don't want to pass without being recognized. Lastly, I want to make a call for action. We need to help one of our veterans organizations in town, the American Legion Post 68 in Berlin. Many people have probably gone to a stag or a function at the American Legion. But the physical structure of the American Legion is in dire needs of upgrade. So tonight we have folks that are outside in the lobby, and they're handing out American flags and just looking for a simple donation to help accumulate funds for the capital project for the American Legion. They need a new roof, they need to update plumbing, they need to take care of the structure, and it's probably close to $100,000. But I feel that in my heart, and I know in your hearts, that we can find our way clear to help them and get that structure put back in good working order so it's available for future generations. I'll leave you with one thought. It's very profound. Today, one of our members went to visit one of our older members, Sam D'Amato. He's 96 years old. He happens to be in a convalescent home in Meriden, and they had Fox 61, and they had Johanna Haynes there, or Johanna Haynes, the congresswoman from the district that covers Meriden and Waterbury. And Sam was one of the featured guys. Sam is 96, as I had mentioned previously. He's the last remaining Army Ranger from World War II. Sam he participated in the invasion in Normandy and D-Day, and he can tell you just about everything about that mission. He can't tell you what he had for breakfast this morning, but he can certainly talk about his time overseas. So God bless him, and he is part of this institution that I'm referring to, and it's a great thing, and thank you again for all your support. Appreciate it.
Brad, thank you for all the kind words. But as I said earlier, tonight would not be possible without Brad and all his work behind the scenes. And we want to thank you, Brad, for making this possible. As much as you appreciate the schools, we appreciate all of you. It is a community effort, so thank you all. At this time, I'd like to ask the Honorable Mayor Mark Kaczynski to come forward with a proclamation.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you being here. First, I just wanted to thank on behalf of the town of Berlin, honor all the veterans here today and all the veterans everywhere for their service and sacrifice to our country, and thank and honor their families for their sacrifice and support. I also want to thank the Berlin Veterans Commission. We're obviously proud of their work with veterans in town in Berlin here, and creating the beautiful Veterans Park, which we had a ceremony today at 11 a.m., which was a beautiful day out there, and it was a great ceremony. And it's a park that honors our veterans, and it keeps the history alive, for future generations. When you walk around the park and see all the placards there, and explains many different things about the history of our country, it's a great park that we have, and I'm really proud of you guys for getting that here in Berlin, so thank you for that. I have a proclamation to give, but before, if you guys don't indulge me 1 second, I just want to. I told the story today. I wasn't going to really tell it again tonight, but a couple people said it's a good story to me personally. So, talking about World War II vets, my dad was a World War II veteran in the Army, and he was stationed mostly in the Philippines. And I was talking to a couple people today at the ceremony, and most veterans, I think especially the World War II vets, but I think all veterans amongst each other, they probably swap some stories, but it's hard to get stuff out of veterans, right? Stories, what happened to them, whatever conflict they may have been in and wherever they served. And my father was the same way. So when I was young, I was going to my parents' bedroom here in Berlin, grew up in Berlin, and to retrieve something that he needed, and I found in the drawer, this rifle round. So I knew, there was no weapons in the house, at least I didn't know of any, so I was curious. It was on a shoelace, and it's kind of odd, out of character for what I would find in my house. So I asked my father about what was this. So he proceeded to tell me a story, which I probably, if I didn't find this, I never would know. That when he was in the Philippines one night, he was in a foxhole by himself. It was dark, and a Japanese soldier came upon him and pointed a rifle at him. So for whatever reason, good thing he was still awake, and it was a good thing he I don't know what prompted the soldier to delay what he probably was going to do, but my father had his .45 in his hand, and he fired first and stopped that threat to him. And that was the round that was in the chamber of the rifle pointed at my dad. So, which just to me is an example of certainly, personally, certainly was under great danger in World War II and in the Philippines, but all veterans face that. So within a second, he could have been gone, and he was very lucky to have made it home through World War II, as are all the veterans that do make it home. So it just kind of drove the point home to me, so I figured I'd share that with you all. With that, I want to give this proclamation, and instead of a mask, I need the glasses to see it. So each year, this is Town of Berlin proclamation for myself and Deputy Mayor Brendan Luddy. Each year, we pause to remember the men and women who have served selflessly in America's armed forces, sacrificing a great deal, including those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and democracy. As veterans, they deserve the respect and appreciation of all of our citizens. The citizens of the town of Berlin are encouraged to honor our servicemen and women, including those listed as missing in action or prisoners of war, and remember those who have lost their lives in service to our country. On Veterans Day, we publicly salute these sacrifices by providing programs such as this one to pay tribute to our military veterans for all they have done and continue to do to make the world a better and safer place. So now be it resolved by Mayor Mark Kaczynski, the town of Berlin does hereby officially claim November 11th as our Veterans Remembrance Day in the town of Berlin. So gentlemen, I'd like to present this to you. There we go. Thank you guys for your service. Thank you all for your service and what you do for veterans and the town of Berlin. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I accept this for all the past veterans, present veterans, and future veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Mayor Kaczynski. At this time, I'd like to ask the McGee School Patriot Pen Essay students to come forward, please. We'll let you all stand and just one at a time will speak, okay? So if I could have Grace Buckholz will be the first speaker.
How can I be a good American? Being a good American has many meanings to all the unique individuals who call America home. For some, it may be participating in class activities or completing volunteer work. For others, it means voting or working hard to become an American success story. Though it may have hundreds of significant meanings, what it means to me is unique. I'm the daughter of a proud, honorable Army veteran who loves his country. It gives me a different perspective than most on a topic such as the military. I often ponder the thought of what could have been. I was fortunate enough to have my father make it home from Iraq, but many aren't as fortunate. It makes me realize that one truly important way for me to be a good American is to support and advocate for military personnel. These are the people that risk their lives to make sure America continues to be the free nation it is today and always has been. Many veterans are struggling on a day-to-day basis. As of January 2020, 37,252 veterans were experiencing homelessness. Fighting in active combat also leaves many veterans disabled, around 12% with PTSD. Many also get injured during combat, and since the creation of the Purple Heart in 1782 and its revival in 1932, nearly 1.8 million soldiers have been awarded the solemn yet honorable award. One way I currently support veterans is by volunteering for a local organization, Boxes to Boots. It is a wonderful organization that sends Christmas presents to overseas active military personnel. They are filled with useful things and small American pleasures that are not readily available an ocean away. This is on the bigger scale of things, as sometimes it can be as simple as saying welcome home to a Vietnam veteran. Through the vile history of the Vietnam War, the soldiers that returned home were greeted with a plethora of hatred. No cheers were heard, no celebrations were held. It was just sons and daughters returning to their ungrateful home. As the American I am, I believe that these soldiers deserve a welcome home. This doesn't only go for Vietnam soldiers, though. Soldiers are people who should be honored and respected, and I feel for that me to be a good American, I should support these astounding people.
Thank you, Grace. If I could have Caroline Maserio come forward.
When I think of America and when I think of how to be a good American, the first thing that comes to my mind is a big collage, and each and every image in that collage is a contribution from a person, and this image represents that person's thoughts, ideas, and more. In a collage, if you add or remove an image, it can change completely. So if a person were to add an image and an idea to this big collage, it would change. The collage would grow into something bigger and better with every person's thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Everything would connect in a new way. However, if we do not share our ideas, America will not grow, and no matter how stupid or outside the box or strange the idea may seem, it still matters. It matters because nobody will ever see how you connect to other ideas and how we can change for the better. Collage is more than just an art style. Collage is all about bringing different elements together. Once you form a sensibility about connection, how different elements relate to each other, you can deepen your understanding of yourself and others. Brian Collier. As an American, a very important word to me is innovation. I think that innovation means to grow, to change for the better, and I think that innovation is a very important cycle for America. Innovation starts with an idea. The idea is from our collage, and then we act on those ideas and grow our collage. And that cycle of innovation repeats, and we find ourselves constantly growing our collage of America. So considering what makes us good Americans now, I couldn't help but think of those who share their ideas, those who add images to our collage by voicing their ideas, whether it be in the form of a fundraiser or a simple school essay. And I think the answer to how to be a good American in the future is to share, innovate, create, bond with others, and connect to their ideas. I think we can all be good Americans by helping America change for the better and adding to our great collage.
Thank you, Caroline. Next, we could have Luke Norton come forward.
I believe that a good American is someone who is not only a generous person, not just a diligent worker, but also someone who is a kind person. First, generosity. A generous person is someone who gives to others, whether that be time, an object, a helping hand, or something else. My great-grandfather was a very generous man with the jobs he took, giving everyone his helping hand, one of which included being a World War II veteran. He gave so much help to others, and he gave a lot of support to our country, and as Americans, we should certainly show our thanks. As Americans, we can also show our generosity by donating to charities, helping out at community events, honoring our veterans, and many, many more great ways. Next, diligence. A diligent worker is someone who takes a lot of time and effort in their projects, and Martin Luther King Jr. certainly fits that description. He was a man who was very passionate about celebrating diversity of race in America, and he strived in bringing people together rather than separating them, which was very hard to do during his time. He was a civil rights activist against racism, he was a minister at his church, and he wrote the iconic I Have a Dream speech. Like him, we Americans can also contribute work to our country by creating a tribute of sorts, like a mural of an important event in America's history, protecting the wildlife of our country in any way possible, working on a project that will benefit your community and possibly beyond, and lots of other wonderful things. My final trait is kindness, the strongest trait of these three in my opinion. A kind person is someone who is friendly, helpful, and knows to do the right thing, even if the surrounding people disagree with it. Martin Luther King Jr. was also a very kind person, and so is my great-grandfather, clearly showing their kindness for others in our country through all their hard work. As Americans, we can show kindness by simply holding the door open for others, waving hello to somebody, staying positive, and a lot more things like this. After all, it doesn't take much to be kind and therefore a good American.
Thank you, Luke. If now could have Alyssa Walker come forward.
As Barack Obama once said, we did not come to fear the future. We came here to shape it. We want to be role models for the future generations. Being a good American is so much more helpful to this world than you may think it is. Stand up for what is right, show generosity, and spread love. There are so many great things you can do to make America better. Although being a good American can be tough at times, it is worth it to help shape the future like Barack Obama said us Americans should do. Good Americans are the ones who take that extra step instead of just what is expected. You can be that person if you work for it. Along with that, America is full of freedom. Good Americans take opportunities and chances. It's your choice if you want to take the opportunities or leave them. But without taking risks, achieving goals may be harder. For instance, if you play a sport, sometime in your life you'll most likely have to try out for a team. In order to make the team, you have to try out and take risks and try your best. If you use those opportunities to your advantage, you are most likely to be more successful. That is the quality of a good American. Another aspect of being a good American is being confident in the decisions you make. If you are afraid to make decisions in your day-to-day life, that will eventually have a negative effect. By being confident in your actions and decisions, you are being a good American who is fearless, like Barack Obama once said. At the end of the day, it's up to you to be courageous when making important decisions. It is your decision to be opportunistic and take smart, calculated risks when you get the chance. These qualities can help lead you to become a good American.
Thank you, Alyssa, and thank you all McGee students for sharing with us how we can all be good Americans. Thank you all. Thank you. Next, I'd like to have the Berlin High School Choral Singers and the McGee Sound Express to share a song called Song for the Unsung Hero.
Pledging faith.
Special thank you to the Berlin High School Choral Singers and the McGee Sound Express, directed by Tyler Boyle and Corinne Chalecki. Thank you all. Next, I'd like to welcome Emily Kobus, a Berlin High School student, who will share with you centennial commemoration of a tomb of an unknown soldier. Emily?
The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs announced the theme for this year's Veterans Day is centered on the centennial commemoration of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. In 1921, an American soldier, his name known but to God, was buried on a Virginia hillside overlooking the Potomac River and Washington, D.C. The burial site of this unknown World War I soldier in Arlington National Cemetery became known as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The neoclassical white marble sarcophagus depicts 3 carved Greek figures representing peace, victory, and valor. Inscribed on the back of the tomb are the words, "Here rests in honored glory an American soldier known but to God." The tomb sarcophagus stands above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I. To the west are the crypts for an unknown soldier from World War II and the Korean War. A white marble slab flush with the plaza marks each crypt. In the following years, thousands of people flocked to Arlington National Cemetery to pay their respects at the tomb of the unknown soldier, which soon came to symbolize the sacrifices of all American service members. In 1926, Congress established a military guard to protect the tomb during daylight hours. Since midnight on July 2, 1937, the Army has maintained a 24-hour guard over the tomb. Sentinels of the 3rd U.S. Infantry, the Old Guard, assumed these duties on April 6, 1948, maintaining a constant vigil regardless of weather conditions.
Thank you, Emily. And now we have Bailey Buklaski, who will present on the unknown soldier's journey to the U.S.
Celebrated military historian and best-selling author Patrick O'Donnell illuminates the saga behind the creation of the tomb itself and recreates the moving ceremony during which it was consecrated and the 8 body bearers, along with the sergeant who had chosen the one body to be interred, solemnly united. Brilliantly researched, vividly told, The Unknowns is a timeless tale of heeding the calls of duty and brotherhood, and humanizes the most consequential event of the 20th century, which still casts a shadow a century later. Here are a few excerpts from an interview in the book in which O'Donnell points out some key highlights. They bring him back to the United States on board the USS Olympia, which is this storied warship that Admiral George Dewey had. The Olympia brings it back. It comes into the Washington Navy Yard, and the body bearers, the 8 men that are in this book, bring back the remains. It first goes to the Capitol Rotunda, where he lies. There's thousands of Americans that see him. And then the procession comes down from Washington to here in Arlington. Initially, American Expeditionary Forces General John Pershing was supposed to be on horseback, but he just wanted to be a regular mourner and walk behind with the unknown. This was an incredibly important event in 1921 on November 11th. This was a chance of healing. Many of the leading organizations, the NAACP, and many more folks were invited to this ceremony. And one of the things that I found really interesting is the last person as the unknown was being placed in the tomb was Chief Plenty Coops, who was a Crow war chief, was given the honor of placing his war hammer on top of the tomb. And he says several words, even says later on that education is your greatest weapon. This is hallowed ground. This is sacred ground. The tomb of the unknown soldier represents all those who served and who have fallen for the United States.
Thank you, Bailey. Next, we have Olivia Monsonis, who will present the Gold Star Family's Memorial Monument. Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay, Olivia, please.
To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with the solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory. This quote is from President Woodrow Wilson, proclaiming Armistice Day, which would later become Veterans Day, on the anniversary of the end of World War I in 1919. Here in our own community, we are one step closer to having a memorial dedicated to Gold Star families. Retired Marine Woody Williams started the Woody Williams Foundation so that old Gold Star families have a monument to visit and remember their loved ones in every state. The foundation has erected 86 monuments across the United States. All of the Gold Star Family Memorial monuments are nearly identical on one side, bearing the words, Gold Star Families Memorial Monument, a tribute to Gold Star families and relatives who have sacrificed a loved one for our freedom. At the center is a cut-out shape of a person saluting that represent their loved ones. Peter Galgano, a Marine Corps veteran on the Berlin Gold Star Families Memorial Monument Committee, said the monument was placed so that when the sun goes behind the monument and the shadow hits it at a certain time of day, the image shines through, and it's like a loved one is with us. The other side of the monument is unique to each location. It has 4 panels, which represent homeland, family, patriot, and sacrifice. The patriot panel will feature an image of the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima to honor Williams. Connecticut Gold Star families and the veterans are currently in the process of designing the other panels. The Berlin Veterans Commission has taken on the project to update the Wall of Honor at the Berlin Town Hall and make it a digital Wall of Honor. It was dedicated on November 15th, 2018. 321 veterans are currently on the wall. A digital version of this wall is shown on television in the Town Hall main lobby, which plays on a loop. Every Berlin resident or their immediate family members, past or present, who have served or are currently serving in the armed forces of the United States of America, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, National Guard, and Reserve is on this wall. This is a wonderful way to continue to recognize the families of our community who have served our country. And now we'd like to share a video presentation of students and staff reflecting on what Veterans Day means to them.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, we have a presentation for you on Veterans Day. This was prepared by Berlin High School students and staff. And we could roll the video.
Veterans Day is important to me because it's the day out of the year that we think about the people behind our military conflicts.
It is a time where we can honor the selfless people that fought for our country and that allowed for all of us to live freely and with security.
It simplifies the sacrifice of veterans and how they have chosen to serve their country above anything else.
Veterans Day is important to me because it's just a day to really look at how lucky we are as a country to live in just an amazing place in the world and be grateful for the people that fought for our freedom and our privileges to go out and do what we love to do every single day in a peaceful environment.
It helps me think of the people who have served in this country, and it gives me a day to honor them for the freedoms that they have given me.
It's another day to kind of be thankful, and it's a time to reflect on why or how I'm able to do the things I'm doing and why I'm able to do it.
As a history teacher, I always think of the fact that it was based off of Armistice Day, the end of World War I, and it's a moment to say, okay, on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, let's pause and take a moment and think about all of the cost, all of the human sacrifice that it took to get this far, and then later on, when it was sort of opened up to recognize all veterans, I still think it's an important day to pause and reflect and think about the people who have served our country.
So Veterans Day has always been important to me because my dad was a veteran, and he made it a big deal. We all made it a big deal around Veterans Day because it was special. He was part of the American Legion, and a lot of our friends were veterans. So it was a very important day to honor everyone who's served. So currently, my son-in-law is in the Navy, and which means my daughter also serves. And I actually was with the Department of Defense and taught in Turkey for a year on an Air Force base. So I got a good feel of what the Air Force active duty people go through when they serve in the military.
Both of my parents were in the Navy, and my fiance is actually a active member of the Massachusetts National Guard. I have cousins and family all across the country who have served in different branches of the military, so I have a lot of ties to people who are in the military, so it's a very meaningful relationship to the military that I have.
One person who served in the military that I knew was my dad's uncle. He was a sergeant during the Korean War in 1952, and he's had a big impact on my life, a big outlook on what I have in life, to think about how grateful I am to live in a country that we have today.
My uncle and aunt both served in the military. My uncle was in the Coast Guard, and my aunt was in the Air Force, and my cousin is currently enlisted in the Army.
I have a very close friend who's currently serving. He's done a tour in the Middle East, and he's eligible to serve again. So it's definitely a close to home thing for me.
Yes, my grandfather served in the military. He was part of the U.S. Army, and he was always just so proud of his service to our country, and it made me really appreciate the military and what they do even more, just from a young age. Hearing his stories and hearing his lessons that he learned in the military, it's just always impacted me in who I am today.
I know generations that kind of served. My great-grandfather served, my grandfather served, my other grandfather served. I've had great uncles and uncles that served, whether it's on the battlefield or just setting up for the people that are going to be on the battlefield. I also know people around my age that are going to be going to the Marines soon.
I myself am actually joining up in the Marines. I'm shipping out August 29th to Parris Island. This is something I feel is my duty, and it's it's just something I need to do.
I just hope that all the students and staff just take a moment out of their day to show gratitude and just be thankful for the lives that we have, and be thankful for everyone that fought for our country.
We are able to do what we do because of the people serving for us, and that it's not only about the people. I feel like it's also about our flag as well and us as a country.
I hope BHS members just keep in mind the sacrifice that military members made, and the bravery that they showed to help us. I mean, we can complain about small things like our food's too cold or it's too hot outside today when the members of the military endured, just some awful things, but they did it for our freedom, and they didn't get anything in return for that, and I'm just so grateful for that.
So to me, the major takeaway of Veterans Day is to remember the people, both in the past and in the present, who are contributing to our military. They don't often have enough recognition for the sacrifices they make, the time that they put in to protect and really look out for this country. And the least we can do is give them a day for that.
I just hope students and staff just look at how fortunate we are to live in this country, with the freedoms, what people are willing to do, sacrifice their lives, just to be able to let us live free and not have to deal with issues other countries might have to. So I really appreciate our veterans, and I feel like students and staff should attempt to say thank you to veterans that have served in our country.
While we recognize veterans who maybe didn't make it home and veterans who did make it home, ultimately it's just thinking about what a ripple effect they've had, and taking a minute to think about each veteran as an individual person with an individual story. And so for me, it's really about thinking about all of the perspectives that we bring as we're making history in that way.
I hope they recognize the fact that they get to stay safe at home and they get to enjoy their everyday life due to the sacrifice of others and the bravery and just the valiance of other people.
What I would say is to make sure to honor veterans, and that would include people that are currently serving. They've sacrificed, I get choked up, so they've sacrificed a lot for us, for our freedoms, And I just think it's really important to honor them much more than taking advantage of a Veterans Day sale. So on Veterans Day, hopefully everyone can thank a veteran.
Next, I'd like to ask the Berlin High School Band and choral singers and the McGee Sound Express, which is one of my favorite parts of the night evening, to perform the Pride of America, the Armed Forces.
Good evening. As we perform our Armed Forces Pride of America medley, it is a medley of all the service tunes. If you are a veteran, when you hear your service tune, we ask that you please stand as you are able. And again, thank you for your service.
That concludes our performance for this evening. But before you go, you've taught us much years ago when you served, but I think you can see that you're still teaching us and teaching the students by the words: appreciation, respect, dedication, all those words that they shared about what you've demonstrated, and an appreciation for the lives that we lead because of you. And I think the fact that we do this today and that we do celebrate in our schools, and in Berlin we have School on Veterans Day, helps students to better understand and appreciate all that Veterans Day means. So I thank you all for coming out this evening. It's great to see everyone here. I was a little concerned about the gymnasium, not instead of the auditorium, but you sounded wonderful. So thank you all. You sounded great. A few acknowledgments to give before we go. Berlin High School Administration, thank you for putting this together. Jeffrey Kronk, who is our social studies department head, who's sitting over here. Mr. Kronk's been instrumental in putting the program together. Joy Cooper, our McGee Middle School social studies teacher and department head at the middle school. Berlin High School office staff and custodians. Nick Smith, as you know, throughout the pandemic, we were able to broadcast a lot of events and things. Nick Smith, if you give a wave over there. Nick Smith is our audio video. Nick has done an outstanding job of getting the videos out to the public. Debbie Batista, my executive assistant. The Berlin High School Band, the Berlin High School Choral Singers, the McGee Sound Express. Jack Rudy, our Upbeat director. As many of you may be aware, Jack Rudy is our Upbeat director currently. Jack Rudy is taking another job teaching, and we want to wish Jack the best and thank him for all the years as our Upbeat director. Jack? Tina Doyle, director of the Senior Center. And individually, I'd like to thank Briley Johnson, donates to plants every year. That's wonderful, Briley Johnson. I'd also like to thank Tyler Boyle, who stood in to direct the Berlin High School band tonight. Mr. Chris Dresko is out sick, so thank you, Tyler, for stepping up and directing. And our McGee music teacher, Marlene Bradshaw, was our flag lady, handing out flags this evening, so thank you, Marlene. And there are some refreshments out in the lobby for you. Those were prepared by our food service director. So I thank you for coming out tonight. I look forward to next year, but thank you all for being here. Thank you. Have a nice evening.